welcome to Communicate to Lead, the podcast that empowers leaders and aspiring leaders to communicate with clarity and impact. I'm Keely Belton, CEO and successful entrepreneur, and your host for today. I'm here to equip you with all the essential tools and strategies to master effective communication and lead your team to success. As the founder and CEO of The Tailored Approach, my goal is to empower you to be the best leader you can be. So sit back, relax, and join me in today's episode as we dive into the art of communicating like a true leader. It's that time of year again. The holiday music is starting to creep into stores. The scent of pumpkin spice lattes is in the air, and we're hurtling towards the end of another year. I don't know about you, but I used to find this time of year a bit overwhelming. There was always this pressure to wrap everything up perfectly well at the same time, gearing up for the next year. A few years ago, I remember feeling completely blindsided by a new project in January that I was unprepared for. It was definitely a wake-up call for me. I realized I needed a better system for reflection and planning, especially if I wanted to truly excel as a leader and business owner. And that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to talk about how you can use this last quarter of this year, Q4, as your powerful launchpad to propel you to even greater leadership success in 2025. This is your time to take charge, set clear intentions, and step into the next year feeling confident, prepared, and ready to lead with impact. Let's start by hitting the pause button for a moment. In the whirlwind of deadlines, meetings, and holiday parties and preparations, it's easy to skip over the crucial step of reflection. But trust me, taking the time to look back on the past year is essential for growth and development. Think of it as your leadership debrief. Here are 5 questions to guide your reflection. Question 1. What were your biggest wins this year? Really savor the victories. Did you land a new client, successfully lead a challenging project? Maybe you mentored a colleague. That's question 1. What were your biggest wins this year? Question 2. What challenges did you face? Don't shy away from the tough stuff. What obstacles did you encounter? What lessons did you learn from those experiences, etc.? Question 3, what did you discover about yourself as a leader? Did you uncover a hidden strength? Identify an area for improvement? Maybe you realize you thrive in collaborative environments, or perhaps you discovered a passion for public speaking. Or maybe you realize that your idea of what leadership should look like is completely different, has shifted, and you are excited about a new way of looking at your own leadership journey. Number 4, speaking of strengths and weaknesses, what are they for you? Honest self-assessment is key to growth. What are you naturally good at? Where do you need to develop further? And what resources do you need to help you continue growing? These questions are crucial to think about, reflect on, to help you with 2025. And here, finally, is question number 5. Did you achieve the goals you set for yourself at the beginning of this year? If so, amazing. Celebrate that success, and I celebrate that with you. If not, that's okay too. Reflect on why you might have fallen short and what you could do differently next year. And let's be honest, this year was different. The last month was different with presidential elections in the US. Things have definitely been tense. They might still be tense. There might be lots of emotions and feelings around that. So give yourself grace. Think about that context when you are looking back at whether you achieved your goals, and perhaps if you didn't, why you didn't, and what you can do differently in 2025. To make this reflection process really impactful, I encourage you to find a quiet space, grab a journal, and really dive deep into these 5 questions that we just talked about. Or if journaling isn't your thing, and I totally understand that, Maybe you want to try meditating on these questions or talking them through with a trusted friend or colleague, or even better, creating a visual mind map. Whatever you decide to do, the key is to engage with these questions thoughtfully and honestly, because when you do that, you get all the data you need and that you'll be able to use for your success in 2025. Okay, now that we've reflected on the past year, let's shift our focus to the future. It's time to dream big and set some strategic goals for 2025. Think about your overall vision for your career and leadership journey. Where do you want to be by the end of next year? Maybe where do you want to be by June in 2025? What impact do you want to make on your team, your organization, or even the world? Dream really big. Do you see yourself leading a major initiative, mentoring a group of aspiring leaders, breaking into a new industry? If you are working in an environment where people are being let go, mergers are happening, there might be new possibilities and opportunities out there. But in order to get to those opportunities, you have to be willing to look and dream big before you can go after them. Once you have that big picture vision, let's break it down into SMART goals. Remember, SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, I want to be a better leader in 2025, a SMART goal might be, by the end of Q2 in 2025, I will have completed a leadership training program focused on developing my communication and delegation skills. Notice the difference? The second one is specific, measurable, and has a clear deadline, which is by the end of Q2 2025. So that means when you get to the end of Q2, you will know whether you have done and achieved the goal that you wanted to achieve. So to get your creative juices flowing, here are 3 more examples of SMART goals that you can think about. 1, leadership development. Here's an example. I will attend at least 2 leadership conferences in 2025 to expand my network and learn from industry experts. 2, you can focus on career advancement. And you could say something like, I will apply for a promotion to senior manager by June 2025 after successfully leading X project and completing Y certification. So there you are, making it very specific. You're focusing on different parts and you already have the different pieces. That means you are going to apply for a promotion, you are intending to lead X project successfully, and you are planning to complete your Y certification. So whatever that looks like for you, that is a goal you could set if you wanted to focus on career advancement. And then lastly, number 3, if you want to work on work-life balance, here's an example for you. I will implement a consistent morning routine that includes 30 minutes of exercise or mindfulness practice 4 days a week to improve my focus and well-being. Now, here's the key. Don't just set these goals and forget about them. It's not going to help you if it's gathering dust in your journal or it's somewhere in your head. Break them down into smaller, more manageable steps. Ask yourself, what can I do in Q4 to lay the groundwork for achieving these goals in the new year? Perhaps you can start practicing a 10-minute morning routine this year instead of waiting and starting cold on January 1st, 2025. Let's be fair. January 1st, most people are still in a holiday mood. They're having a wonderful time. And maybe you don't even think about your morning routine. But if you were to spend the rest of November and December practicing a 10-minute morning routine, that already sets you up for success in 2025. If you continue doing that, it becomes a habit. So when January rolls around, you don't even have to think about what you're supposed to be doing. You are already doing that. And all you need to do is perhaps extend the time, is maybe focus on adding some different activities. There's an example for you. All right, we've reflected, we've set goals. Now it's time to create an action plan for Q4, because we can have all the goals in the world, but if we don't have an action plan that helps us, that tells us the things that we need to do, we are not going to achieve our goals. They are simply going to be wonderful dreams in our heads and minds. And this, of course, is where the rubber meets the road. With your goals in mind, identify the most important actions you can take in the next few months. Remember, it's okay to say no to things that don't align with your priorities. In fact, it's essential. I used to be a yes person, and it led me to burnout and feeling completely overwhelmed and scattered-brained. Learning to prioritize and say no was a game changer for me. And if you want to listen to an episode where we focus on saying no and how you can do that, I will link to an episode of this podcast in the show notes. Go listen, go try it out, and stop saying yes to everything that doesn't give you joy, that doesn't serve you, that does not help you achieve your goals. Okay, so here are a few ideas for your Q4 action plan. Now remember, you are the captain of your ship. You are the leader of your journey. You get to decide what your action plan looks like. But I wanted to help you get started. So the first thing is you want to invest in yourself. Sign up for that leadership course you've been eyeing. Attend a workshop on public speaking or negotiation or whatever skill you think you lack or that you'd like to focus on. Over the next 6 weeks, read 2 books on leadership or whatever skill you want to focus on, or listen to 1 weekly leadership podcast episode to help you develop your leadership skills. And if you're listening to this podcast, guess what? You are already ahead of the game. You keep listening and subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. 1 episode a week can make a difference in how you show up in 2025. And if you wanted to expand your network, make a list of industry events or conferences happening in your area and commit to attending at least 1. So go take a look. What events are happening next year in 2025? Put that down on your calendar. Get the okay from your supervisor, your manager, your boss, and make sure you get there. Or reach out to someone you admire and ask for an informational interview. Join a professional organization related to your field. If you join now, you are ready to hit the ground running when January rolls around. And lastly, consider finding a mentor. Having a mentor can make a world of difference in your leadership journey. Look for someone who inspires you and who can offer guidance and support. And do yourself a favor, reach out to them today. Reach out to them this week. Make sure you don't wait until the end of November to do this. It's easy. If you already have someone in mind, send them that email. And finally, don't forget about self-care. The holidays can be a hectic time, so make sure you're prioritizing rest and rejuvenation. Schedule in some downtime, get plenty of sleep, and do things that bring you joy, because you can't pour from an empty cup. So you want to make sure that you are taking care of you, which will enable you to take care of everybody else that you want to take care of. Deal? Wow. We've covered a lot. We've reflected, we've created some goals, and now you have an action plan that you are going to start working on today. You're not going to wait till January. You're going to do that today. I hope you're feeling inspired and empowered to take charge of your leadership journey. Remember, you are capable of amazing things. Don't underestimate your potential. Now, here's what I want you to do. Share your biggest takeaway from today's episode on Instagram and LinkedIn using the hashtag Q4 Leadership Power Moves. I can't wait to hear your insights. And stay tuned for our next episode next week, where we'll dive into LinkedIn mastery. If you're not using LinkedIn strategically to build your brand or your network, then you, my friend, are missing out. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you for joining me. I hope this episode has inspired you to do some planning this year to set you up for success in 2025. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. Until next time, my friend, I am Keely, reminding you that great communication is the foundation of inspiring leadership. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember to communicate to lead.